Make sure you do it. It all starts Wednesday with Class 1A. So let's see, how does this break down? I forget the times, what time, each team plays, but so the brackets play out like this. Number 1, Mahtomedi, is paired up with number 8, New Ulm. Number 4, Greenway, paired up with number 5, Delano. The number 3, East Grand Forks, and number 6, Minnesota River / Le Sueur. Number 2, St. Cloud Cathedral, paired up with number 7, North Branch. So how I have this breaking down, kind of goes like this. I don't know if you guys can see all that, but so I have Mahtomedi making easy work in New Ulm. Then I have Greenway beating Delano. It's always tough when it's number 4 versus number 5 because it's a much more, on paper, it's a much more even matchup. But when I really broke it down and looked at Greenway's record, how they did in sections, and how Delano did in sections, they were both impressive, but it's just Greenway stood out more to me because they beat a very good Duluth-Denfeld team and, of course, beat Hermantown. Greenway's record is alarming, though. Like 12 wins and 13 losses. I mean, that's head-scratcher material. That's disturbing. But it tells me that when it counts, when it matters, they show up. And that's what it comes down to. It's just like boxers. You get gym fighters, and then you get true superstars out there. Some teams, when the lights are on, when the lights are brightest, they can't perform. Other teams, they're average in the gym, but they go out there and when it matters, when it counts, when the world is watching, they're rock stars. And that might be the case with Greenway. When I look at what they've done in sections and the teams they beat in Duluth, Denfeld, Hermantown, those are games they should have gotten killed. Duluth, Denfeld is good this year. Hermantown's always good. Hermantown should have made easy work of Greenway. So that just tells me that Greenway might be one of those teams where when their back's against the wall and they need to perform and everybody's watching, they rise to the occasion. So that's why I went with Greenway over Delano, because it's crazy to have a 12-13 record going into section playoffs, and then to be able to beat 2 top 10 ranked teams, in your class, when you have a less than 500 record. That tells me you're doing something right, and you're really pulling out all the stops and stepping up when it's time to showcase your skills. When it's do or die, you're stepping up. That's why I'm going with Greenway over Delano. But ultimately, I'm going with Mahtomedi over Greenway in the semis. I know they played this season around, I think it was around the holidays. Mahtomedi won like 5-2 or something. So I'm going to have to go with number 1 Mahtomedi over number 4 Greenway in that semifinal matchup. In the other part of the bracket here, you have number 3 East Grand Forks versus number 6 Minnesota River. I'm going to have to go with East Grand Forks. I mean, they have a great record. I believe it was something like 17-6. Allow less than a goal a game. Average like over 5 goals a game. I forget who Minnesota River beat, but they were kind of a surprise. A team that I didn't expect to see in the state tournament. But East Grand Forks, I mean, they're pretty consistent. Every year they're pretty much up there. You can expect to see them in the state tournament. So I had to go with them over Minnesota River. Number 2, St. Cloud Cathedral. They have a really good program too. You can kind of expect to see them there every year. I have them making easy work of number 7 North Branch. So number 3 East Grand Forks versus number 2 St. Cloud Cathedral there. And I'm going to have to go with St. Cloud Cathedral. I mean, when I look at the records and I break down the games and who's peaking at the right time, I had to go with St. Cloud Cathedral. Record of 21-4. They've been on a tear. But you know, it's so hard, man. When you have the number 2 and number 3 seedings, that is so hard to pick one of those because it really is anybody's pick. I mean, there is literally a sliver between a number 2 and number 3 team, right? Or if you have number 4 versus number 5, there's this much of a difference in talent, you know, and it's really it's anybody's day because I mean, you could literally roll a dice and you're going to have your pick there because I mean, they're just so evenly matched. So, number 2 versus number 3, I have St. Cloud Cathedral coming out ahead of East Grand Forks. Then I have Mahtomedi, number 1 seed, taking on number 2 St. Cloud Cathedral in the final. And I'm going with number 1 Mahtomedi because they've just been on a tear. You know, coming back after what they did last year, that awesome comeback against Orono, ultimately falling short in overtime. But this season, I just think everything's fallen into place with them. They just beat Totino Grace in the section final, a team that whipped them earlier in the season, right? But they shut them out just the other night. So I think they're peaking at the right time. And their stats are second to none. You know, allow less than a goal a game, average over 5 a game. Then you have St. Cloud Cathedral. Mahtomedi and St. Cloud Cathedral just played a couple weeks ago. Mahtomedi won that game convincingly. I'm going to have to go with number 1 Mahtomedi taking this whole thing. But, yeah, so that's how I see it playing out, you guys. I have Mahtomedi over New Ulm, Greenway over Delano, and then Mahtomedi over Greenway, East Grand Forks over Minnesota River, St. Cloud Cathedral over North Branch, and then St. Cloud Cathedral over East Grand Forks. Then ultimately, number 1 Mahtomedi over number 2 St.